There's a dangerous habit that silently kills more dreams than failure ever could. Waiting, not because waiting is inherently evil, but because it becomes your hiding place. You wait for the right time. You wait for the perfect plan. You wait for approval, support, alignment, and slowly you start believing that you're stuck because the world hasn't opened a door for you yet. But here's the brutal truth. You're not stuck because of your environment. You're stuck because you've convinced yourself someone else has the key. Every moment spent waiting is a quiet decision to delay your destiny. It's an act of self-betrayal. Because deep down, you already know what needs to be done. You know the calls you need to make, the hours you need to put in, the discomfort you need to walk through. But instead, you stall. Because taking action means taking responsibility. And that's uncomfortable. Here's what no one tells you. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your friends, not your boss, not some future version of yourself. The cavalry isn't coming. But that's not bad news. That's the most liberating truth you'll ever hear, because it means you don't have to wait anymore. You're allowed to start right now as you are with what you have. Progress belongs to those who stop waiting and start building. Nobody's going to hand you the life you dream about. You build it with calloused hands, lonely nights, and silent discipline. Every second you wait, you're quietly telling your future self, you're not worth it yet. Break that. Move now, even if it's messy, even if it's small, because building beats waiting every time. From childhood, we're conditioned to believe that someone out there will save us. A teacher, a mentor, a partner, the system, fate, luck, or maybe some higher power. The narrative is seductive. When things go wrong, someone stronger will step in. But that narrative is also a trap, because in real life, no one is coming. People are busy saving themselves. The truth is, most won't even notice that you're struggling. Not because they're evil, but because they're human. Everyone is fighting their own internal chaos. Your success, your comeback, your freedom. Yeah, it's no one's responsibility but yours. That might sound harsh, but it's actually a superpower, because once you let go of the fantasy that someone will save you, you stop waiting, you stop hesitating, you realize this is your fight, your hands, your grit, your plan. Look at anyone who's built something real. From companies to communities to creative breakthroughs. They weren't sitting around waiting for a sponsor, a rescue, or a perfect moment. They moved before they felt ready. They acted while they were scared. They built through confusion. And through that chaos, they found clarity. Stop waiting for someone to understand your pain, validate your dream, or pave the road for you. That's not how this works. You're not a side character. You're the lead. No one's writing your story for you. You write it line by line, brick by brick, or it doesn't get written at all. If no one is meant to rescue you, then the path is yours to carve. You don't need saving, you need starting. When everything collapses, when people leave, when resources dry up, you're left with you. That's it, and that's enough. You are the one who will have to push when it gets quiet. You are the one who will have to stand up after the plan fails. You are the one who has to look in the mirror and say, we're not done. You are both the sword and the shield. The problem is we're raised to seek external reinforcement. We want permission, guidance, structure. We want to be told we're on the right path. But in the battlefield of building something meaningful, whether it's a business, a body, a life, or a legacy, that feedback rarely comes. Sometimes the people you expect to support you will be silent. Sometimes they'll doubt you. Sometimes they'll disappear. And if your strength is tied to their presence, you'll collapse with them. But if your strength is tied to your mission, nothing can stop you. You don't need rescuing. You need resilience. You need a reason that's louder than your excuses. You need a vision that can stand even when everything else falls. You are not fragile. You are not meant to be protected. You are meant to be forged. You are your first responder, your commander, your reinforcement, your backup plan, your recovery system. When it all goes dark, you are the light switch. So don't outsource that power. Own it. Train for it. Build for it. Because when everything falls apart, you will remain and rebuild. Let's be real. Help is not guaranteed. Support is not promised. Most people are too consumed with their own survival to carry yours. That doesn't make them bad. It makes them human. The real damage isn't that help doesn't come. The damage is what happens while you're hoping for it. Hoping makes you passive. It slows your reaction time. You delay decisions, pause execution, and resist discomfort because you think help will make it easier. It won't. When you're constantly hoping for someone to jump in, financially, emotionally, physically, that you become mentally soft. You condition yourself to wait for better conditions instead of adapting to what's in front of you. That mindset will destroy momentum, and momentum is everything. Now, let's clarify something. There's nothing wrong with receiving help. If it comes, honor it, use it wisely, but never depend on it. Build systems that don't need saving. Build habits that don't collapse when you're alone. Build with the assumption that help isn't coming, and you'll be unstoppable when it actually does. Because the real strength lies in self-reliance. When your mindset is, I'll do this with or without help, you become free. Help becomes a bonus, not a crutch. You stop being a burden and start being a builder. So kill the hope that someone's going to make this easier. Expect the weight, carry it anyway. And if someone offers a hand, great. But if they don't, you're already climbing. There's a moment in every builder's life when the finger pointing ends, when excuses run out, when blaming circumstances, people, luck, or timing stops making sense. That's the moment responsibility begins. And that moment is where everything starts to shift. Responsibility doesn't mean it's your fault. It means it's your fight. It means even if others let you down, even if the odds are unfair, even if you're tired, overwhelmed, and underprepared, you still choose to respond. You still take control of what happens next. That's power. The people who rise fastest in life are the ones who stop outsourcing responsibility. They stop waiting for someone else to notice their effort. They stop looking for someone to manage their time, motivate their hustle, or validate their value. They take command. Taking responsibility means owning every inch of your progress and your failure. No deflection, no denial, just radical clarity. You stop reacting and you start leading, even if you're the only one following that vision right now. And once you do that, growth explodes because now you're not limited by how others act. You're fueled by how you choose to respond. You're not a puppet of chaos. You're the architect of comeback. Responsibility is hard. It's heavy, but it's also the most direct path to freedom. You don't need the world to shift. You shift. And when you do, the world has no choice but to adapt to your movement. Every time you hesitate and ask, is this okay? Should I do this? Will they approve? You're giving away power. You're outsourcing your permission to people who don't carry your vision, your responsibility, or your consequences. Great builders don't wait for a green light. They become the green light. They know the cost of delay is far greater than the risk of doing something imperfectly. They know that if they wait for everyone to agree, nothing groundbreaking will ever happen because by the time everyone approves, the moment is past. Think about it. The people who've built empires, movements, or innovations didn't ask for approval. They made decisions. They stepped forward and said, this needs to exist. I'll build it. Watch me. You can't lead from behind a permission slip, and no one is qualified to approve your dream except you. Of course, listen to feedback. Of course, refine, but don't freeze, don't shrink, don't wait for someone to bless your idea before you act. Bless it yourself, decide, then build. Because progress doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most decided. You don't need a stamp, you need conviction. It sounds noble to expect support, but in reality, it's a setup for resentment. If you build your momentum on applause, motivation, or validation, you'll slow down the moment those things disappear. And trust me, they will disappear. Not because people hate you, but because people are distracted. They don't see what you see. They don't owe you understanding. The faster you drop your expectations, the faster you rise. Expect nothing. Not cheers, not congratulations, not even acknowledgement. Move like a ghost. Build in silence. Outwork the noise. When support shows up, appreciate it, but don't depend on it. Why? Because depending on support makes your drive conditional, and conditional drive dies when comfort disappears. But when your drive is unconditional, unstoppable, rooted in mission, you'll become untouchable. You don't need permission. You need purpose. Building alone doesn't mean you hate people. It means you're not afraid of yourself. When you work alone, you're forced to confront the gaps in your thinking. You're exposed. There's no one to hide behind. That level of pressure makes you sharper, faster. You learn how to solve problems without waiting for answers. You learn how to stay focused without being managed. You learn how to fall, fix, and finish without applause. Most people waste years looking for a team to complete them, but real builders know it starts solo. Master yourself first, then attract the right crew, not the other way around. The battlefield of greatness is walked alone first, and every lesson you learn solo becomes a weapon when you scale. So don't fear the lonely road. That's where the blueprints are carved. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't owe you fairness. It doesn't owe you timing. It owes you nothing. At first, that sounds harsh, but it's actually liberating, because if the world owes you nothing, then you're free to create anything. You don't need to wait for conditions to be fair. You don't need to wait for the system to be perfect. You build inside, chaos. You build without a safety net. This mindset makes you anti-fragile. While others complain about conditions, you adapt. While they wait for doors to open, you build your own. You owe yourself everything. That's the shift. Don't expect the world to carry you. Carry yourself, and the world will adjust to your weight. The majority of people are stuck in a trance of almost. They almost started, almost committed, almost went all in. But you're not here to be most people. If you keep waiting for signs, you'll die surrounded by them, never having moved. Because signs don't matter if you don't act. The winners in life don't always know more, they just move faster. They decide without complete clarity. They build while everyone else is planning. You don't need the full picture, you just need the first step and the courage to take it. Don't join the army of almosts. Be the one who moved when it was uncomfortable. Be the one who started when others were hesitating. Because building beats waiting every time. People think belief comes first, but belief is the reward, not the requirement. Waiting to believe in yourself before starting is like waiting to feel strong before lifting. It doesn't work that way. Self-belief is built through action, through discipline, through repetition. Every time you keep your word to yourself, every time you show up without a crowd, your belief system upgrades. It becomes real because you made it real. If you wait to feel confident before moving, you'll never move. But if you move first, confidence becomes inevitable. Stop asking if you're good enough. Stop wondering if you're ready. The answer is you will be once you start building. Waiting to be ready is the most sophisticated form of procrastination. You say, I'm just preparing, but deep down you're avoiding criticism, avoiding imperfection, avoiding being seen trying. Forget perfection. It's a myth used to justify inaction. The truth, you build clarity through chaos. You build flow through frustration. You don't level up before starting. You level up because you start. The first version of everything is embarrassing. That's how it should be. If you're not ashamed of your first launch, you waited too long. Start with messy hands. Start with a trembling voice. Just start. The world rewards movement, not planning. You keep explaining your vision, hoping someone will finally get it. Stop. They don't see what you see because it was shown to you, not them. Your vision was born in your struggle, your hunger, your midnight thoughts. No one else felt it like you did. They will see it when it's built, not before. So stop wasting energy seeking validation from people who aren't equipped to give it. Use that energy to prove it. Not with words, with output. Build what they can't see, and one day they'll be asking how you saw it first. Motivation is like weather, unreliable, unpredictable, and totally out of your control. Some days it's there, most days it isn't. If your grind depends on it, you'll lose. The secret, discipline over dopamine. When you act without motivation, when you show up tired, uninspired, and unsure, that's where your power compounds. You become unstoppable because you've decoupled progress from feeling. The real ones don't wait to feel right. They act until it feels right. Want motivation? Start moving. Motion creates emotion, but don't wait for it. Build without it. Everyone works when it's convenient. Champions work when it's hard. The magic is not in the hours when things flow. It's in the hours when you want to quit, but don't. When your eyes burn, your brain's foggy, and your excuses are screaming, and you still choose to build. That's where identity is forged. Anyone can be disciplined for a day, but those who win, they're consistent when it's ugly, when no one's watching, when there's no hype. If you only move when it's comfortable, you'll never break through. But if you work when it's hard, you'll build what others can't imagine. People think legacy is built on stages, in headlines, or with followers. But the truth is, it's built alone. In silent rooms, behind closed doors, when no one is watching. It's built in the hours no one applauds, in the effort no one posts about, in the decisions you make when no one would know if you quit. Your legacy isn't made public, it's made private, then revealed. So embrace isolation. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The silence isn't your enemy, it's your lab. That's where greatness is engineered. Keep building, even if no one sees. One day they will. Building is hard. No lies here. It's exhausting. Like it breaks your back, your ego, your comfort. But you know what's worse? The pain of not building, of knowing you had more inside you and ignored it, of watching years pass and realizing you stayed stuck by choice. That pain lasts longer. It haunts deeper. Choose your pain. One builds a future. One builds regret. You can suffer now through construction, or suffer later through self-disappointment. Either way, there's pain. But only one path gives you something real at the end. Discipline is not something you find, it's something you build. No one will knock on your door and give it to you. No mentor, no app, no book. You want it? Create it. Discipline starts with one decision, to do what you said you would, even when the mood dies, then repeat again and again until it becomes who you are. People talk about mindset, but mindset without discipline is theory, useless. Discipline is how you prove to yourself that you're serious. Without it, everything else collapses. With it, you can carry the world on your shoulders. No one is rewarded for dreaming big. Dreams are free, easy, cheap. Everyone has them. But execution, that's rare. That's where the world pays attention. You don't become known for what you wanted to do. You become known for what you did, for what exists, for what's built. You could have the greatest vision in the world, but if it's not real, it's just noise. The marketplace respects output, impact, substance. So stop romanticizing ideas, start romanticizing action. Dreams matter, but only when they're built. Turn your vision into a result, and the world will follow. Here's the truth. You already have what it takes. Right now, not someday, not after one more course, one more approval, or one more plan. What you don't have is certainty. What you don't have is permission, but you don't need either. You don't need saving. You need to act. You don't need answers. You need execution. The power is there, but it's worthless if it stays locked inside. Yeah, you have it. Now prove it. Not with speeches, not with posts, with work, with consistency, with action.